Okay, for today, I'm starting off with a little bit of a review before we take a quiz. But this time, I'm just going to continue after I've done the review and teach you there's only really one new thing right after I've reviewed for the homework quiz. Teach you that one new thing, which I promise isn't long and won't get you all confused. But then we'll take the quiz after that. That way, when people are done with this, they can get started on, the problems that I want you to do at the end of the hour. So, all right, so here we go. Did you find that 3 was here and 9 was here? First of all, you have to put the bigger numbers to the right of the smaller numbers. You with me so far? Did you circle the 3 and circle the 9? That's important. Do either one of them get scribbled in or as in filled in? No, because there's no less thans or greater than signs. Or equal signs, sorry. There was less thans, but there wasn't or equals. All right, so empty circles. And last but not least, you actually draw where they are. Less than 3 goes this way. Less than 9 goes that way. Was there an area where they did that? Yes. Now, if you put both of them on your line and you left it that way, then you didn't do it right. Because if you left everything on there, that's called union. If you focus in on where they overlapped, and therefore your number line looks like this, where there's 3 and 3 wasn't part of the overlap, they didn't both touch 3, that's the final answer. It's just from 3 over. If you included both of them, you were doing a union. You were including the numbers between 3 and 9, which weren't part of the intersection. They didn't overlap. Get what I'm saying? Okay. So, how about this? What if I make you a picture and then you have to write between 2 and 3, and it's shaded in between them, and it's dark at 3, I'd like you to write that as interval and the other notation, which is called set builder notation. Write me interval and set builder for this. I'll pause for a second. We need to give that a try. Okay, first up, you should have said 2 to 3 parenthesis bracket. That should be easy. If that isn't easy, you're in the wrong place. Okay, then we got to move on to the other kind. What about set builder? It's not as easy, but it's not that hard either. I recommend you say x colon, that means x where, and then what things could we say? Would you agree that x is bigger than 2? Okay. Would you agree that x is less than or equal to 3? All right. Then I put the little end thingy, but I am missing something in between them. Now, if I actually graphed what this says, it would be more stuff than this. This is not a union. This, where you narrow it down to only what's between them, is an intersect. Raise your hand if you got the intersect symbol in there. Okay, good. All right, now one more thing. This is a little annoying, but sometimes books will put a comma in there. That means intersect. Okay, try to remember that when they put a comma in there, that means intersect the two. Okay, you may assume that if you see it on our homework or on our tests, and I'll be okay with you assuming that that's intersect. Okay, yes, sir. Yep, that's this. Oh, you made one big sandwich thing? 2 is less than x. But what? Okay, hold on. And then what? All right. I will accept that one as long as you have this, x where, and as long as you end with a thingy. If you make a sandwich like that, that'll work. I want to warn you, you can't do it that way when it's like this. If you've got a graph that goes outwards like that, you will have to write 2 separate statements. You might think you can make a sandwich out of that, but you can't correctly make a sandwich out of that. So I'll show you an example. Let's say this is 2 and this is 3. You'd have to say x is less than or equal to 2, union x is greater than or equal to 3. Because if you try to do this, and here's a 2 and here's a 3 and here's the x in between them, this, you'd have to use different symbols. You're not allowed to use one greater than and one less than. You have to use the same symbol all the way across. And in fact, they're all supposed to be less thans. So if you do it the way you did it with less thans here and here, that's okay. But don't try to do this. X is this way on this one, and it's That way on that one, you're not supposed to use greater than symbols like that. Okay. Only do it your sandwich thing with less than. Okay, enough of that. So, what else is on your test? This little quiz here. Anybody want to have a theory? What have we done also since Monday, or since Tuesday when we started? Probabilities. About what? Probability of what? Vens. So here's caught, and here is dog, and here is, let me think, what else is common? Carpet. Caught is at some point during your school career, have you been caught with your cell phone out and had the teacher say, hey, put it away? Some people have never been caught, and some people have never even done it. But some people have done it and never been caught. All right? Some people have been caught and have a dog. Some people have been caught and have a dog and have carpet at home. You are somewhere up here. I want you to think it through and figure out where you are. Some of you don't have carpet, don't have a dog, and have never been caught, and that's you down there. All right? Figure out where you are in that little circle of life. Okay? I don't need everybody to raise their hand at the same time, so let's just do one little section at a time. Could you have made that any louder? All right. So, who has been caught but doesn't have a dog and doesn't have carpet? You've been caught with your phone out, but you don't have a dog and you don't have carpet at your house. All right. I think the carpet is the one that's messing that up because I think a lot of people have carpet. So, how many of you have been caught and have a dog but don't have carpet? Again, the carpet thing's probably messing that up. Okay, so who's been caught and has a dog and has carpet? All three. All right, there's a bunch of honest people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Who has a dog only? You know what that means? You have a dog but not the other things. You have a dog but you haven't ever been caught and, okay, none of those. All right, who has a dog and carpeting but has not been caught? 1, 2, okay? Who has carpeting only? Of these things, you only have the carpeting part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, who has gotten caught with the cell phone and has carpeting at their house? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a big one. And then who doesn't have a dog, doesn't have carpeting, and has never been caught with their cell phone out? Nobody. Okay. So then I should be able to add these up and should add up to the total people in the room. So let's see, this is 19, 20, 21, 28 humans in the room. That seems about right. So then, first of all, that's a skill. Do you know how to make one of those based on clues? If I had said that C for caught, oh man, C for caught versus carpet. Let's say these are N for naughty. Naughty cell user. So that can be an N. All right. So then I go P of N intersect D. Do you know what that would mean? All right, well, let's figure out what N intersect D is. Which one is N intersect D? Well, here's N. Here's D. Do you see where they overlapped? And it's just this little part right here, so that's what? 10 out of what? Awesome. 10 out of 28. See how I did that? All right, I'm going to erase that, and I'm going to ask you to do a couple that are more, well, not necessarily more challenging, just different. What's the probability of dog union N? I'll just do that one to start with. This looks like done. D union N. Okay, D union N. Dog. Union N. People's eyes are automatically drawn to the spot where they overlap, but that's not what we want. We want everything that's been shaded because this is a union. So did you include all of those numbers? 21 out of 28. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Okay, awesome. All right, so here's the piece de résistance. N, what? Of not capital N, union C, nook. Good luck. I'm going to pause for a second. I want you to check with the kid next to you and see if they've got an idea what they think maybe N instead of P might stand for. I'm going to pause for a second while you and the kid next to you figure this out. Any theories about what the little N in front meant? Number of, yes. It's the number of people that are in that group. Okay, that's what N stands for. As opposed to P, which stood for what? Probability. N stands for the number of people. Okay, so what is not N? Well, I like to make it kind of like a sunburst. Not in N is like all of these that are not in the N circle. Okay, there. Union with means big group, kind of like those, because you don't have to see where it overlaps. With C, here's C. C is this one. And again, your eye might be drawn to where they overlap, but that does not matter. It's everything that's shaded. So basically, that's everyone. The only thing that isn't shaded is these, which are zeros. So that means everyone. 28 out of 28, but it's not a probability. It was a number of. So the answer is 28. Raise your hand if you had 28. Sweet. If you didn't, do you have any questions about why? Yes. One more time. All right. So think of it this way. Union is a big group. It's everybody who got any invite. Not N didn't invite them. You're right. They weren't in this group, but weren't the 9 and 10 in that group? The 9 and the 10 were in the C group, weren't they? See, your brain's doing that thing where you think it has to be in both groups. The 9 and the 10 are in the carpet group. They're inside here. So the 9 and the 10 are included. When it's a union, we just want everybody who's included. So that's why the 9 and the 10 are included, because they got an invite from one of the two. Okay, I know that's the trickiest part, no doubt. All right, last thing that you have to know for this besides, well, actually, that was the last thing. Yay. I'm not going to reiterate the distance formula and midpoint because we've done it a few times and it was even on the top 20, so you should know how those go. But the one thing that I need to teach you, this is not on the quiz, but it's the one last thing that you haven't learned yet before symmetry. Symmetry is tomorrow. And by the way, I'll be gone tomorrow. I was nice to you guys. I have the option when I schedule my appointments to take a day for a doctor's appointment, and I could take a separate day for dental and what else am I doing? Oh, acupuncture appointments. I got this Achilles tendon that just won't heal, but it's getting better from acupuncture. So anyway, I'm going to do all three tomorrow so that I just miss one day. Okay, so I have a doctor's appointment, dentist appointment, and acupuncture appointment all scheduled for tomorrow. So I'll be gone. Mr. Winterhalter, who has taught this class before and is really good at this, he is a actual teacher who just retired. He'll be great. He's going to be your sub tomorrow. Okay, and then just to clarify, the test isn't the next day. When you come back, and I come back, we have Wednesday and Thursday that are kind of like review days. Wednesday is the second day of symmetry. Thursday's review. Friday's the test. Okay, so your first test is on Friday of this week. All right, so let's talk about that last thing. X where was pretty easy. Let's see if you can handle this. X comma y where x is less than or equal to 8 and y is bigger than 2. Figure out what that is, and hint, if you're going to do it with a number line, it needs both an x and a y axis. Because now you have both x and y, not just x. So this is what's called set notation, and you're trying to make the graph of it, but you can't do it on just a normal number line. You have to do it on one of these with an x and a y. Okay, so graph the answer for me. I'm going to pause for a minute while you and your partner see if you can come up with what you think the answer is. And notice that one of these had an or equal sign, and one of them didn't. I'm going to give you a hint. Your answer will look something like this. It's a whole area of the graph. I'm not saying that's the answer. I'm saying it'll look kind of like that. All right, I'm going to pause for a minute while you give that a shot. Okay, let's see if you caught on. See if you picked up what I was laying down. Here's where y equals 8, and it's equal, so I use a solid line. And then it says less than 8, so that means I shade underneath that line. How many of you had that little element of this correct? Raise your hand if you did. Oh, dear. Okay. Am I doing it wrong? I'm suspicious now that I'm doing it wrong.
You're right, but I got screwed up. Oh. I got the...
Oh, wait a minute. I just did y. Dang it. Sorry. Okay. That's not x equals 8. That's y equals 8. And I made that mistake sincerely. Okay, so that's normal. Let me show you why not. That's y, and this is x, and it touches right here. It's supposed to be 8, right? Well, that would be y equals 8 right there. That's not x equals 8. Sorry about that. I know, that's confusing. It's kind of one of those opposite day things. If this is the y-axis, then lines that run like this are x equals things. Okay, so x equals 8 is over here because it goes through the spot where x is 8. So sorry about that. That was just a sincere oops mistake on my part. And now it's less than 8. So which way do you think I should shade? Left or right? Left. All right. Now, how many of you had that the same as I did? Okay, good. Now I know I'm on the right track. Okay, next, I'm going to now shade where y is greater than 2. Here's where y is greater than 2. First of all, I'm going to make sure I don't do it the wrong direction. Here's where y is 2. Let's say y is 2 right there. And here's where y would be equal to 2, but I'm making a dotted line. Why would I make a dotted line? Because it's not 2. If it was equal to 2, I'd have a solid line there. And then it says y is bigger than 2, so that means it goes up from there. Now, one more thing. Do you get that usually you're looking for where things overlap? This doesn't say, so it's a little vague. If it had had a comma in there, what did I tell you could interpret a comma as? Intersections. So if that's what you believed I meant, then you would have said intersect, and you would have said only where those overlap, which would have been not there. It would have been right there. Okay? I think that's probably what most of you did. Had I put in a union symbol, do you get it would have been everything that got shaded? If there would have been a union symbol, they all got invited. And everything that got shaded even once was included. The only thing that wouldn't have been included was down here. That make sense? Okay, so there's two ways that could go. You can ask me, if there's not a symbol, you can say, what symbol's supposed to be in there? If there's ever a question that doesn't say. But I did tell you that a comma can mean intersect. All right. That's it. That covers everything. There isn't even anything that hard on this quiz. And now your homework for tonight, there's 3 pages at the end of this file. It's technically not homework for tonight. I'm assigning it for the first time, but these 3 pages starting right here, see how this is kind of your clue that it's the homework? That's the first page, very easy, total review of the night before. This page you may skip, because it's also a review, and I think it's pretty easy, and the homework was a little too long. And lastly, it is this. And because today is on a holiday that not everybody here observes, but that many do, we are going to say this is not even due tomorrow. It can be due a couple days from now. Okay, but for right now, I just recommend if you got time after your quiz, do it. You're going to have to do it eventually. So, okay, the one page in the middle there is the one we skipped. That one. All right, so when you're done with this quiz, do you have homework? Well, technically not, but you could do these problems that are eventually going to be due. All right? Okay, clear off your desk, up something to write with. I would recommend pencil because you're going to be shading things in. And then if you want to erase, it's a lot easier to erase pencil to clean up your final answer. If you need to borrow a pencil, ask somebody nearby or ask me after I'm done handing these out. That's all I have for the video for today.